Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Barbara Moreno. I'm with goDCgo School Services, and today we're going to talk about biking and staff wellness. So, I like to start off all my presentations by getting to know my audience a little bit better. And so, since we're talking about biking, I want to ask all of you, when was the last time that you rode a bike? Was it this week? Was it last week? Last month? Maybe a couple months ago, maybe even a couple years ago, maybe not even since you were a child. I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll and give you about 30 seconds or so to answer it. Okay. All right, looks like most of you have voted. And let me go ahead and close this and share the results. All right, so looks like we're pretty recent bikers in this room, and that's really exciting. So I'll be sharing a lot of information about how you can encourage biking among your staff, and also how you can encourage, really kind of develop a bike-friendly school as well to really, again, help with that encouragement. So let me go ahead and hide this poll. Let's go to our agenda slide. So as I was saying, right, first up, we're going to talk about all the biking options that there are in DC. Of course, how you can encourage cycling, and then we'll wrap up with tips and advice on how to develop a bike-friendly school, right? So I'll talk about all the various programs that exist in DC that can help you do that. And then we'll wrap up with a Q&A. So if you have any questions about anything that I'm talking about, there is a questions tab on the little GoToWebinar pop out. So if you want to just type them in there, I will definitely answer all of them at the end of the presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. So first up, about goDCgo and school services. So who is goDCgo? We are an initiative of the District Department of Transportation. We are a leading resource for transportation information and options. So if you ever go to our website, goDCgo.com, we have all the information you could possibly need about sustainable transportation here in the district. So I highly recommend checking it out. Why do we care so much about sustainable transportation? Well, it's because our goal is to decrease traffic congestion in DC, improve air quality, and of course, create a better quality of life in DC. And that's all going to happen if we're all not 100% driving, rather, right, shifting all the modes and doing each of them as evenly as we possibly can. So what about goDCgo School Services? Well, kind of an offshoot, right, of goDCgo, kind of like a sub-program. And I'm here as the goDCgo School Services client manager to provide consultations to all DC schools. So whether you're a public, private, or charter school, we're here to help you implement and enhance the commuter benefits program for your staff, and also encourage students and families to use sustainable transportation. So we're definitely in the works and developing presentations for that as schools really start to reopen. So definitely be on the lookout for that from us as well. So biking options in DC. Well, you're in luck. DC is a very good place to bike. So we are a gold level city when it comes to biking in the nation. And that's because of everything that you see on the screen right here, right? We have 60 miles of trails for biking, 77 miles of bike lanes, over 2,500 bike racks all around the city. We have dockless bikes, right? So you've probably seen them, right? Not the Capital Bike Share bike that you see in the image on the slide, but rather the ones that you can just, right, hop on and hop off wherever you may be. We also have many, many public bike amenities. And of course, one of our big gold star shining programs is our Capital Bike Share program. We have over 600 Capital Bike Share stations system-wide. And so system-wide includes both Northern Virginia and Southern Maryland, so around kind of Montgomery County and like PG County. And again, we have 6,100 Capital Bike Share bikes system-wide as well. And again, system-wide meaning across Maryland, DC, and Virginia as well, right? So that's a lot of biking options that you have in the district. So let's go a little bit more in depth through each of the three main options that you have for biking. So Up first, right, the gold star system here for biking in DC, and that's Capital Bike Share. So I'm going to talk a little bit about just kind of some basics about how to use Capital Bike Share. So how you can access it is there's a wonderful Capital Bike Share app that you can download. You can also purchase memberships online or at the station, right? So wherever you are, you can have access to a Capital Bike Share bike. Where you park them. So again, there's over 600 stations where you can park these bikes at after you're done completing your trip. If you're returning a bike, not to worry, and the station is full, don't really worry about it. There are many stations. So there's usually one about another 2 or 3 blocks away from you. So you can easily go ahead and bike to that location and it wouldn't be too big a deal. Lastly, and very importantly, they do have an excellent customer service system. So if you have any issues, know the number and the email are right there. Of course, if you download the app, have access to all this information on the app as well. So highly recommend if you're biking in DC to use Capital Bike Share. And because we live in the times that we live in right now, it's important that we mention the safety measures that Capital Bike Share is currently undertaking to make sure that riders are, reducing risk as much as possible. So they are currently disinfecting high contact surfaces each time a bicycle is returned to the company depot. Bikes at the docking stations are cleaned with a special focus on high traffic stations, and the transport vans are disinfected at the start of each shift. Capital Bike Share also requires staff to wear gloves when handling the bikes and is helping to secure face coverings for all members. So the dockless bikes that I was talking about earlier, we'll talk a little bit more about them as well. So there are many dockless bike companies. In fact, Capital Bike Share also has dockless bikes now that you can just, you don't necessarily have to bring back to a station. So you can also count Capital Bike Share among the dockless bike share group as well. So you usually loop in the bikes and the scooters, but I'm going to specifically talk about the bikes, but scooters kind of work the same way as well. So you find the dockless bike you want, you go to that company specific app. So there's no one centralized app for all the dockless bikes here in the district. You do have so you see a Lime bike, right? You go to the Lime app to download that app and figure out, right, how to use it. Where you can park them. So there are some rules, right, around parking. You can't just leave them anywhere, but you can almost leave them anywhere in the same way, right? There's just some rules, right? So you have to make sure that there's a minimum of, right, 5 feet of pedestrian travel space that you leave without blocking access to any private properties or driveways, right? Oftentimes the apps make you take a photo of your parked bike, so that way they can confirm that you have appropriately parked your bike. And then lastly, again, you can report any issues that you have with any of the dockless bikes or the scooters through the website of each respective bike or scooter company or the app as well. And again, because of the times that we live in, we need to make sure that we also talk about the measures that are being put in place to keep you safe when you're using these shared vehicles. So we have a whole list on our website. I couldn't copy and paste all of it without going into like 10 slides. But if you go to goDCgo.com, we do have a list of every dockless bike company, every scooter company, right? Any type of like micromobility that's happening here in the district. We have a list of it on the website and their cleaning procedures. So I've gone ahead and just kind of summarized what a lot of them are doing. And so overall, these dockless and bikes and scooter companies are sanitizing and cleaning multiple times a day and providing additional sanitizing resources upon request. They're using CDC-approved disinfectant products to thoroughly sanitize, and they are performing regular spot cleanings on high-contact surfaces such as bells, throttles, and handlebars. Right, last but not least, your personal bike. So what should you know about your personal bike? Obviously, you can access it whenever you want. It is your personal bike. Where you can park it, there are some rules around that. So you want to make sure that you park it at a bike rack or a signpost. You don't want to lock your bike to a tree or a fence or any other area that can impede access for others, right? You want to make sure you're kind of keeping mindful of that in terms of how you can lock your bike to properly secure it we recommend using a U-lock to lock the frame and the back wheel to a bike rack or the signpost. And if you have any issues kind of with any of the biking infrastructure, the bike amenities here in the district, please call 311 to report any of these issues and have your issues addressed as well. And of course, there are ways that you can also stay safe while you're riding your own personal bike. So some additional measures that you can take is you want to make sure you avoid riding in groups, right? Definitely want to keep 6 feet distance from everyone, and more if you're going fast. You want to ride at quieter times if you can, and ideally on quieter routes as well, right? There's probably, as you map your route out, you're going to say like, oh, this one's looks really popular. You probably want to avoid that one and kind of go for a smaller route if you can. You want to make sure you wipe down the surfaces, right? You can never be too careful. And you want to carry hand sanitizer, right? Because eventually you will be touching a non-bike surface that's yours. And of course, you want to make sure you also get an opportunity to wash your hands as frequently as possible and wear a cloth mask. So, to the meat of the presentation, how can you encourage cycling at your school? Now that you have the basics of all the biking options here that exist in DC, how can you encourage people to use them? These dockless bikes, the capital bike share bikes, their personal bikes. How can we do that? So one, you want to make sure that you tell them the benefits of cycling. A lot of times people aren't aware that there are many benefits to biking. You are decreasing stress levels when you bike. You're improving your posture. You're improving your coordination. You're strengthening your bones. You're reducing anxiety, and you're increasing productivity, right? These are all things people want in their daily lives. And biking can help with that. So my first tip, right, is ring loud and true all the benefits that biking gives. If that ends up not being enough, I also have more tips. So another way that you can encourage cycling is by making it easy. So remember earlier how I said that goDCgo.com is a plethora of information around sustainable transportation. That includes biking, and we actually developed, with the assistance of the Washington Area Bicyclists Association, routes for every level. So remember how I said you want to pick quieter routes, all of that stuff. All that information is on our website, so goDCgo.com, and you will find all the biking information you need. I highlighted a beginner route, right? Because again, some people might be anxious, right? They were like, oh, what if it's too hard, right? It's easy to just point them to an easy route, right? You can only do 30 minutes, 5 miles, right? All ways you can make cycling a little bit easy for someone who is either starting or restarting, right, after a long hiatus. You also make sure you point them to all the mobile apps, right? As I said, there's many mobile apps out there, and they're all on goDCgo.com. We do link to basically all of them. So if you have any questions about any of the apps, they're all listed on our website, goDCgo.com, under our bike tab. So please check that out for all the mobile app information that you need to give to your staff. Additionally, we can also help with route planning on our website. We have an interactive map planner, so you can go there, map your route, and it'll tell you what bike routes you can take to get to your location. So again, all of that information is on goDCgo.com. But these are all ways you can make it easier, right? Just giving them all the information that they need so that it's like, okay, perfect, excellent. I have what I need to go. I know what route I'm going to take. I know what app I'm going to use. And I'm ready to go. Another way you can encourage cycling is by making it affordable. So there's a couple ways that you can do this here in the district. Is you can do an employer paid bicycle direct benefit, right? So that can be just a benefit, kind of like the transit benefits that you might do, where you maybe subsidize staff's transit by, I don't know, $50, $100 a month. You could do the same for cycling, right? You could offer a cycling subsidy of, $10, $20 a month for your staff. And that just helps cover some of the costs that are associated with biking. Obviously, they're a lot less than the costs associated with driving. So this is like a nice incentive to encourage cycling. Another thing that you can do is for the people who are very new to biking, or maybe don't have a bike anymore because they moved, you can assist them with the purchase of a new bike. And again, that can be either 100% if you are capable of doing that. It could be at 50%, kind of whatever works for your company. But these are really great ways to make cycling more affordable. And lastly, there is also a Capital Bike Share corporate membership program. And so through this program, your company becomes your school becomes a Capital Bike Share corporate member. You would fall under the same kind of rules as all other DC employers. So you'd fall into the same kind of corporate membership program as schools as well. And through this program, you can basically offer, apologies, had a call coming through. You can offer basically free and reduced bikes to all of your staff members. And the way the program works is that it's on a per employee basis. So there's 3 levels. There is a gold level where you pay 100% of the cost for each employee, and that would be at $50 per employee for a year of Capital Bike Share membership, which includes unlimited 30-minute rides. And so the way that would work would be, let's say you have 10 employees who are interested in that, you would pay $500, right? 10 times 50 for those 10 employees that want to ride the bike. If you have 0 employees who are interested, you pay $0 for this Capital Bike Share corporate membership. It is very much based on how many of your employees are interested in getting a Capital Bike Share membership. So you don't have to worry about like prepaying and saying like, okay, I had to buy in advance at least 50 Capital Bike Share memberships because we don't know who's going to be interested. It's very much done on a per employee basis when they're interested. You just need to sign the contract, and then Capital Bike Share and goDCgo kind of take it from there and help you start implementing that program. There's also a silver level where you can have the employees put a little skin in the game and they pay $25 and the company subsidizes $25 for the Capital Bike Share membership. So this is an excellent program. It's a great way. Again, as we said, there's 6,100 bikes, 600 stations. Sometimes I know I personally don't have room for a bike in my apartment, so it's a great way to have access to a bike without having the bike itself and having to worry about it all the time. So another way that you can encourage cycling is by making it fun, right? So you've made it easy, you've made it affordable, people are still aren't biking. All right, well, sometimes you just need to give people challenges, right? Especially now as school is slowly kind of starting to come back into session, you want to give people opportunities, right? A little motivation to try cycling to and from school, or just to and from errands as well. Right, so one thing you can do is a biking bingo. So I have a screenshot of one from the League of American Bicyclists, and it's for Bike Month, and that's in May, right? So that's a great time to really kind of encourage cycling. It's a beautiful month of beautiful weather, and it's, of course, also is Bike Month, because that's the perfect time where you want to try biking. So you can do just like simple things, right? You can say you rode to a community meeting, rode to the grocery store, encourage a friend to start riding, right? All these like small little things, give them credit. You can also do a challenge app or a tool. You can have maybe like different departments like competing against each other to see who can like log the most miles. And of course, right, you can have just like simple prizes, simple gift cards. I know some people who do like PTO, right? If they don't have right, a lot of money for like prizes, they'll be like, oh, you can gain 1 day of PTO, right, if you win this like challenge. And that's enough to motivate people to try cycling, right? And the best way to kind of keep people cycling is to get them to first really try it and enjoy it, and then they go ahead and keep doing it. So of course, we want to make sure we talk about making it safe in a more standard way, right? And so you want to be able to provide basic bike safety tips to help everyone feel safe riding, right? So wearing a helmet, following all traffic laws, right? Being mindful of parked car doors, careful at intersections, not riding against traffic. Again, all this information is on goDCgo.com. So please check it out. We have all the details there, so you can print it out, email it to your staff, whatever it is that you may need. But that is on our website. Additionally, another thing that we kind of encourage schools to do as employers, right, to offer to their staff is that WABA, the Washington Area Bicyclists Association, which I mentioned earlier, they actually offer a bunch of classes to help employees really know the safe riding principles and rules of the road. So I know, right, one big reason people are anxious to get back on is, well, I don't know how to ride in a city, right? That's a different experience than riding in the suburb that I came from. right? I haven't ridden in a long time in a city. The rules have changed. I don't feel comfortable anymore. WABA will actually can do a per school class. So they have reduced fee classes that are maybe around like $10 or so, or sometimes they're free. And you can sign up for them and they will do a community ride, give you tips, but they can also do one specifically for a location. So if you are interested in really having one just for your staff, just for your school, they can do that as well. So I highly recommend, if you really want to try and encourage bicycling, this is a great way to help staff really feel safe, really feel comfortable riding. And of course, and I'd say this again, I won't go through it in super detail, but the other way that you make it safe, especially now during COVID times, is you want to make sure that not only you're encouraging just general safe riding, right? Wearing a helmet, all of that, also encouraging your staff to ride safely by not riding in groups, riding at quieter times, wearing a cloth mask, right? Carrying hand sanitizer, washing their hands frequently. Again, another thing that's going to make them feel safer and really encourage cycling again, because they're going to be like, okay, well, I have all my bases covered. It's affordable, it's easy, it's fun, and it's safe, right? I feel great. Let me go biking. All right, so now that we've talked about how you can encourage cycling, a big part of that and why I decided to kind of like section it off into its own part of the presentation is having a bike-friendly school, right? That's going to be another way they can really encourage people to bike, because there's a couple more steps to that. Didn't really feel like making the last section a super long section, so decided to make it its own section. So let's go ahead and talk about how you can create a bike-friendly school. So why should you become a bike-friendly school? Well, you've heard all the reasons before, but let's go through them again. Right, as an employer, right, you want to support your employees' health and well-being. You want to lower health costs. You want to attract and retain talent. You want to increase productivity. You want to meet sustainability goals and reduce your carbon footprint, right? These are all things you care about and all things that bikes and encouraging biking and becoming a bike-friendly school can help you achieve. On the employee side, right, employees want to be more fit, they want to be more healthy, they want affordable commute options, right? That's really important here in the district. More control over their commute time, right? I know many people who are like, oh, well, it takes so long to get to this location. When you're biking, it tends to take a lot less time, right? They don't want to be in traffic, right? That's one way that they can help that. They're improving the air quality, right? Reducing their carbon footprint. All great things, right? And are all reasons for becoming a bike-friendly school. So I'm assuming since you're here that you're already interested in this. So let's go ahead and talk about the details on how to do that. So one thing that we recommend to do, and we call it a sustainable transportation plan. In retrospect, we probably should have called it a sustainable transportation guide. This actually, it's not super in-depth. It's maybe about 2 to 3 pages of some information that you need to fill out. And it just kind of helps you pick some strategies around biking and other sustainable transportation modes if you want. And right, just kind of set them as goals and say like, okay, like I want to encourage biking. What are ways that I can do that? We have a list of all the strategies that you can do. And you can just pick and choose and say like, okay, I want to do this one. I want to do that one. And I want to do that one. Okay, perfect. I also want to encourage walking. How can I do that? And there's walking strategies in the document as well. I've walked several schools through this. It takes about maybe like 30 minutes, but it's a nice step and it's a nice way to kind of hold yourself accountable. Again, this is on the website. So if you go to goDCgo.com/school, if you want to be a little bit more specific on that one, that this plan is on there. You can download it. If you have any questions as you're filling it out, want more information on one of the strategies, whatever it may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My contact information will be in the document. So just go ahead and email or call, and I will get back to you with the information that you need. But I highly recommend doing this. It kind of just gives you a nice first step to really kind of plan and really guide your foray into becoming a bike-friendly school. Another good thing to do is to assign a school transportation coordinator. So this is something we encourage all schools to do. Every school that I work with, I work really hard to make sure that we have a school transportation coordinator. And it's because it makes it work better. It's really nice to have a champion for sustainable transportation at your school, and that includes biking. So being an STC would mean being goDCgo's main point of contact at your school, promoting wellness to school staff, students, and families, promoting active transportation like biking and walking at your school, and of course, right, kind of implementing the school sustainable transportation plan, being able to really kind of guide the school through everything. So it's not just to have your point person, you're like, hey, like you're a go-to person when it comes to sustainable transportation. Let me know if you decide to kind of go this route. If you have an SCC, we do have like a whole suite of kind of like swag and perks that we kind of give to SDCs, right, to encourage them to, right, continue in their role. So let me know again if that's a avenue you're interested in taking. Happy to walk you through that as well. Some other things that you can do is you want to make sure that you can provide indoor parking and maintenance if you can, right? So this would include wall racks, bike storage stands. You also want to educate employees about bike parking safety and regulations. Other things that you can do as well is have what we call a bike fix-it station, right? So make it easy so if something happens on their ride to school, that they have what they need to possibly fix it, right? So provide tools, air pumps, tire levers, right? All these things that kind of will make the bike ride to and from school more fun, more easy, more accessible. Those are good things to kind of have in a relatively, right, like central location at the school, and very accessible to staff as well. Additionally, you want to install bike infrastructure. So DDOT has a bicycle program where you can get free bicycle racks and assistance to employers, again, like schools, in a district by request. So if you are interested in, again, becoming a bike-friendly school and really encouraging cycling this upcoming school year, especially because of COVID, and you want to, right, encourage active modes, don't want to have a really long pickup drop-off line, right, all that good stuff, having bike racks is one of the easiest ways to really encourage and get people biking, because they just want to know that they have a place to park. So if you're interested in installing some additional bike infrastructure, please reach out to me. My contact information will be provided at the end of the presentation. I'm more than happy to get you started on that process. Additionally, other things that you can do and invest in addition to the free bike racks that the District Department of Transportation provides, is you want to also, if you can, provide bike lockers, locked bike storage room, a covered bike shed, right? These are all options. And we have a list of vendors as well on our website if you're interested in some of these more, I guess, higher cost type of parking that's a little bit more in depth. Right, and lastly, you want to make sure you arrange for amenities. So as a school, you kind of in a slightly better situation than a lot of employers, right? You probably just need to create some kind of like rules and regulations, but in terms of having access to showers, you guys probably already have that, and a place to change as well, and lockers, and definitely that's what schools are known for, are lockers. So all these things help, right? Because you have your helmet, maybe you have your bike pads, your water bottle, right? You have all this stuff that you're kind of carrying with you to get to and from school on bike. It makes it easy to, or makes it easier for people to bike to and from school if they just know that, oh, right, I just have my locker, I get in, I park my bike, put my stuff in my locker, I shower, I change, and I start my day, right? Just make it a nice one-stop shop for your staff. If you don't have right, access to showers, or your building, right, really strict regulations, again, totally understand that's not capable of every employer to provide that, especially every school. But something that we have seen employers do is that especially if you're in a more like high traffic area, you can make arrangements with a nearby health club, right? So if you're near like a Washington Sports Club or something like that, you can talk to them, right? Figure out like, okay, like our staff can use your right facilities to kind of change and hold their stuff, right? Again, to encourage that that cycling to and from school, because that really kind of makes the active part, right, a lot easier, because your active does have some connotations around, sweating and, right, just needing to put items away, and that additional items with you that you carry. So the more you can have access to these amenities, the more you can kind of encourage these active commutes to and from your office. All right, and so that is basically it for me. So I'm curious if who on this call is interested in making their school a bike-friendly school. Okay, give you about 30 seconds or so to answer that. Okay, excellent. And this is the results I like to see. Excellent. I love hearing that you're interested in making your school bike friendly. Again, please reach out to me if you have any questions about the process. You can visit goDCgo.com/school to sign up for a free consultation. We're here to help you figure out how to get your staff and your students to school as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and just open it up to questions. As promised, my contact information is here on this last slide, barbara.moreno@goDCgo.com. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask. But if those come to you later, no worries. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Barbara Moreno. My email is barbara.moreno@goDCgo.com. If you have any questions about your return to school and how to make your school bike friendly, or generally any other questions you might have around sustainable transportation as it comes to reopening your schools, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much again for coming. Have a great rest of your Thursday.